Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Miller Time segment tonight. We begin with President Obama changing course on some of his key positions, like trying terrorists in front of military tribunals, like the Bush tax code, like bombing Libya without getting congressional approval. Joining us now from Los Angeles, the sage of Southern California, Dennis Miller. So, Miller, we ran him down the other night, and you saw it. And how did you process all this?
First off, I got to say the kid in the water segment, Johnny tackle box for a face with the goatee and the wind chime hanging out of his ear. Yeah, he wasn't a Harvard student. He was a Harvard professor. Okay. Now, as far as Barack goes and the flip-flops, you know, he asked us to learn how to speak Spanish when he was candidate Obama. So I don't call him flip-flops anymore. I think of him as espadrilles. But you know, why not do it, Billy? His devotees are so far in the bag, this guy could drop an atom bomb tomorrow and they would say it was clean weaponry. The simple fact is he has no tether. I would do it too if I was him. Nobody's going to hold him accountable. Keeping Gitmo open, the Patriot Act, starting a third war, following Bush's footprints in Iraq and Afghanistan, or reinvigorating Afghanistan, following them in Iraq, increased drone use, and all of a sudden everybody's Curtis LeMay on the left. What fear does he have? Nobody's going to hold him accountable. Why not go for it? He's an id president now.
Okay, but what is the
adhering to his basic instincts?
Do you think the end game is what everybody else thinks, that it's just he's doing this to try to get reelected, to try to move into a position where he's more acceptable to independent voters and perhaps conservative Democrats who are like appalled by some of the Obamacare stuff? But it's so transparent. You know, I said the other night, the big problem I have with Barack Obama isn't his ideology. He is a left-wing guy. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Anybody who doesn't know that, it's crazy or it's just stupid. But if he is reelected, there are no constraints on him anymore. So I think he's just going to go way, way left. I could be wrong, but that would be my fear.
Billy, here's my thought. If the House solidifies a little more, you get a 50 or 60 vote thing over there, a 60 vote majority, and the Senate flips over to something that is at least filibuster proof, and Paul Ryan gets in there and starts tightening the purse strings. If Barack Obama and the left now are going to be killing machines about our enemies, I don't even care if he gets a second term. That's fine with me. Gitmo's still open. Can waterboarding be far behind? He'll look you right in the eye and tell us we're going to waterboard because hydropower is renewable. Okay. And they'd all jump on it.
But that's not. But I don't think he's going to stay there. I think that he'll go back, and with the Supreme Court, if there's another opening there, that's frightening. And then the spending, to me, is just crazy. Now, talking about crazy.
Listen, granted, we got to prop up this John Paul Stevens guy. You got to keep him alive or out of the game for 4 more years. But I'm less worried about Barack Obama getting a second term now. And indeed, if he has to stay around and watch Obamacare swirl down the toilet, he might get a little sheepish about it somewhere. You see where he's already peeled back that thing where they have to file all that paperwork. The more he has to stick around and face what he has wrought, I think the more embarrassed he's going to be. Why? He was playing this for history, but guess what? It might work 100 years from now if you look back on it. It's not going to work today. Everybody senses it. And when they give 1,000 waivers out, I think he should have to stay around and sweat it when they get to 2,000, where people just start saying to him, hey, what's up, pal? You're the wonderkind. Why does everybody get to opt out of this who gives you money? I think he'd start sweating it.
Well, I don't think the Supreme Court's going to uphold that anyway. I think you're going to throw it out. All right, now, on the crazy front, we have this pastor in Orlando, Florida, who burned the Koran, and everybody told him you're going to do that, people are going to die, and then people die. So what say you?
Listen, Terry Jones is a moron. I'm surprised he can get a fire started. But how that leads to guys getting their heads cut off overseas is crap. I'm getting sick of treating Islam like Fabergé eggs, where some moron down in the Everglades lights up a book and you decapitate some people overseas and people say Terry Jones started it. Listen, they could start lighting Bibles up tomorrow. They could go Fahrenheit 451 with Atlas Shrugged, my favorite book. And I'd shake my head and go, people are crazy. But this whole thing about I got to get out and scimitar somebody's head from their body, that's crazy. Listen, Jones would be the Outant of Al-Qaeda. Yeah, he's as stupid as they come. But should that lead to innocents getting beheaded?
No.
I think not.
And once again, in the problem of the Muslim problem in the world, we don't see outcry from the moderate good Muslims against this. I didn't see any. Zero. Nothing.
Yeah, I'm not looking for it anymore, Billy.
Right.
I think
it
there would
doesn't
have been an
appear.
Islamic serpent.
Right. It just doesn't appear. All right. Nancy Pelosi against most of the budget cuts because she believes senior citizens will starve. Roll the tape on that.
In one of the bills before us, 6 million seniors are deprived of meals. Homebound seniors are deprived of meals. People ask us to find our common ground, the middle ground. Is middle ground 3 million seniors not receiving meals? I don't think so.
Okay. And you say, Miller?
I say, why doesn't she get out there with the jet she constantly uses on our dime and do a Meals on Wings thing? I think of the middle ground as the huge, vast, open spaces, the Gadsden Purchase-like open territory that exists between Nancy Pelosi's ears. And you know something? Every time she pulls that crap out and starts beating you over the head with us killing old people, it doesn't play anymore. She sits there with her face pulled tighter than Buddy Rich's snare drum and talks about how people are starving. And all I say is every time you open your pie hole, honey, I feel intellectually famished. It doesn't work anymore. You're over. You're a minor footnote. Go rest somewhere on the vineyard and get out of my face.
All right. So you're not buying that the 6 million seniors will die if there are budget cuts?
Listen, she's a scarecrow. She scares people.
All right, Miller. She doesn't scare you. And she doesn't, well, she frightens
bores me.
Frightens me a little.
She bores me. I yawn at the messenger now. She's cried wolf too many times.
All right. And the wolves will be starving, too, if they're, so everybody knows if we cut the budget, the wolves will starve. All right,
Exactly.
Miller.